One of the most common misconceptions about attraction is the belief that it should be obvious. Many men assume that if a woman is interested, she will make it unmistakably clear. She'll flirt openly, say something direct, or remove all ambiguity from the situation. In reality, attraction rarely presents itself in such a straightforward way. More often, it reveals itself quietly through subtle behaviors, small gestures, and slight shifts in how someone engages with you. These cues can be easy to overlook, especially if you are not accustomed to noticing them. It's not unusual for men to reflect on past interactions and suddenly recognize something they missed. A conversation that once seemed completely ordinary may have included moments of closeness that went unnoticed at the time. Perhaps she stood slightly nearer than necessary. Maybe her eye contact lingered just a bit longer. Or she found small reasons to keep the conversation going when there was no real need. In the moment, these details can feel insignificant, but in hindsight, a pattern often begins to emerge. Those small actions may have been early signs of curiosity or attraction starting to develop. These signals tend to be subtle for a reason. For many women, expressing attraction directly can feel emotionally risky. If that interest isn't reciprocated, it can lead to discomfort or awkwardness. As a result, many choose to communicate interest in ways that allow them to explore the interaction without fully exposing their feelings. They observe the dynamic. They notice how you respond to small moments of connection. Your tone, body language, and level of confidence all play a role. If the interaction feels safe and natural, those signals often grow stronger. If it feels uncertain or uncomfortable, they may quietly withdraw without ever addressing it directly. This is why so many opportunities for connection are missed, not due to a lack of charm, but simply because the signals weren't recognized. Learning to notice these cues can completely transform how you experience social interactions. Once you begin paying attention to subtle behaviors, you start seeing what was previously invisible. Conversations feel more meaningful, and signs of interest become easier to identify. At that point, you're no longer guessing, you're responding to a quiet, unspoken form of communication that has always been there. To understand this more clearly, it's important to recognize a key difference in how attraction is often expressed. While men and women may experience desire similarly on an emotional level, the way they communicate it can differ significantly. Men often express interest more directly, through compliments, initiating conversation, or making their intentions clear. Social expectations have long encouraged men to take that approach. Women, on the other hand, often communicate interest in a more indirect way. Rather than stating their feelings outright, they tend to create opportunities for connection and observe how the other person responds before moving closer emotionally. This approach allows them to explore the interaction while maintaining a sense of emotional safety. Think of it as a different style of communication. Instead of declaring interest, the interaction unfolds gradually. It might begin with casual conversation, then slowly deepen as curiosity increases. She may laugh more, maintain longer eye contact, or show subtle signs of comfort through her body language. Each of these behaviors acts as a way of testing the emotional tone of the interaction. Much of this happens unconsciously. A woman may not even realize she's doing it. Her behavior simply reflects the internal process of growing interest. Another reason for this indirect approach is the need for emotional protection. Expressing attraction openly can feel vulnerable. If the feeling isn't mutual, it can create embarrassment. By communicating subtly, she can explore the situation while preserving her confidence. If the response is positive, the connection strengthens naturally. If not, she can step back without feeling exposed. This is why awareness matters. Many men expect attraction to be obvious, so they overlook the quieter signals that actually matter. But once you understand this difference in communication style, things start to make more sense. You begin to notice small shifts in behavior that indicate comfort, curiosity, and openness. These subtle cues often mark the beginning of something deeper. So why do these understated signals exist in the first place? The answer lies in how people protect their emotions. When attraction begins, there is always some level of uncertainty. No one wants to risk rejection, especially in social settings where others are present. As a result, people rely on indirect signals, small tests that allow them to move closer emotionally while still maintaining control of the situation. If the response is encouraging, the interaction continues to develop. If not, it's easy to step back without creating tension. This gradual process is common in social psychology. People rarely reveal their feelings all at once. Instead, they show interest step by step, through curiosity, questions, and extended conversations. Over time, these small actions build familiarity and connection. Each positive interaction reduces uncertainty. As comfort increases, body language becomes more open, tone becomes warmer, and attention becomes more focused. Emotional safety plays a central role here. When people feel safe, they are more willing to express their thoughts and feelings. Subtle signals help create that sense of safety, allowing the connection to develop naturally without pressure. A slightly longer conversation, a more personal question, or a small shared detail, all of these add layers to the interaction. Individually, they may seem insignificant, but together they form a clear pattern. Once you recognize that pattern, it becomes much easier to identify when attraction may be present. Instead of waiting for bold statements, you begin paying attention to the quieter signals that often reveal more than words ever could. Body language is a key part of this. Communication is not limited to what people say. Much of it happens without words. The way someone stands, the direction they face, how often they look at you, and even subtle hand movements can reveal their level of comfort and interest. As attraction develops, these nonverbal cues often shift. For example, someone who is interested may orient their body more directly toward you. Their attention remains focused rather than drifting around the room. Eye contact becomes more consistent and lingers longer. Posture also changes, shoulders relax, movements feel natural, and defensive gestures like crossed arms become less common. These changes often happen automatically, reflecting the emotional atmosphere of the interaction. Facial expressions are equally revealing. A genuine smile involves more than just the mouth. The eyes soften and the expression feels authentic. These signals suggest that the person is enjoying the interaction and feels at ease continuing it. What makes body language so powerful is its honesty. While words can be chosen carefully, body language is much harder to control. When multiple cues appear together, steady eye contact, relaxed posture, genuine smiles, they often indicate that the interaction carries more meaning than simple friendliness. They suggest that attraction may be quietly developing beneath the surface. Physical contact is another early indicator. Not obvious or dramatic gestures, but small, seemingly natural touches. A light touch on the arm while laughing, a brief hand on the shoulder, or a playful nudge, these moments can appear casual. But when they happen repeatedly, especially during emotionally positive moments, they can signal something more. The key factor is intention. When someone feels drawn to another person, there is often a natural tendency to reduce physical distance. Touch becomes a subtle way to reinforce connection. This behavior is usually instinctive rather than deliberate. Timing also matters. These touches often occur during moments of shared laughter or heightened emotional energy. The duration of contact can also be telling. A brief touch may be neutral, but one that lingers slightly can indicate comfort and ease. That comfort is significant, as physical contact requires a certain level of trust. However, context is essential. One gesture alone doesn't define attraction. Some individuals are naturally more expressive. What matters is the overall pattern. Equally important is how the person responds afterward. If the conversation continues smoothly, with sustained engagement and relaxed behavior, it suggests comfort. If there's sudden distance or tension, it may indicate the opposite. Emotional awareness is crucial here. Attraction isn't about forcing moments, It's about recognizing how someone naturally responds to closeness. Eye contact offers another powerful signal. While touch reflects physical comfort, eye contact reveals emotional attention. In casual interactions, people often look around or glance away frequently. But when interest grows, the quality of eye contact changes. It becomes more sustained, more intentional. Longer eye contact creates a subtle sense of connection. It signals presence and engagement. Sometimes there's a rhythm, looking at you, briefly looking away, then returning. This pattern often reflects curiosity mixed with natural self-awareness. When paired with a genuine smile, it becomes even more meaningful. Eye contact can create intimacy without physical closeness. It allows two people to share a moment of focused attention where everything else fades slightly into the background. These moments can feel more personal, even intense, despite their simplicity. Finally, another often overlooked signal is the way someone shapes the environment of the interaction. When interest grows, a woman may begin creating opportunities for more private or focused conversation. This doesn't mean isolation, but rather subtle shifts, suggesting moving to a quieter space, stepping away from a group, or continuing the conversation in a more relaxed setting. This shift allows for deeper connection. With fewer distractions, attention becomes more focused, conversations become more personal, and the interaction feels more intentional. Many men overlook this entirely, assuming it's random, but when combined with other signals, it often indicates a desire to deepen the connection. When you step back and look at all these cues together, a clear picture emerges. Attraction is rarely expressed through one obvious action. Instead, it builds through a series of small, consistent behaviors: touch, eye contact, shared focus, and intentional interaction. Individually, these moments may seem ordinary. Together, they tell a different story. Recognizing this pattern is what matters most. Rather than analyzing isolated actions, focus on the overall flow of the interaction. When someone consistently shows comfort, attention, and a desire to engage, the message becomes clear. At the same time, it's important to remember that these signals are invitations, not guarantees. They create the possibility for connection, but how you respond matters just as much. Calmness, confidence, and authenticity tend to create the best outcomes. When you remain relaxed and present, the interaction feels natural for both people. Authenticity is what allows attraction to grow. People are drawn to those who are comfortable with themselves and respectful in their interactions. When both individuals feel at ease, connection develops effortlessly. Understanding these subtle signals changes how you see social interactions. Instead of uncertainty, you begin to recognize the quiet ways people express interest. And once you learn to see those patterns, you start noticing opportunities that were always there, just waiting to be understood.